Contra is one of Konami's most successful video game franchises, right up there with Castlevania and Metal Gear. And I think this version on the Sega Genesis is one of the most unforgiving games I have ever played out of this series. Yes, I'm using Game Genie, but I'm putting in just one code and I think it's a reasonable compromise. Infinite continues. That way, if I get myself killed, I still have to start from the beginning of the stage instead of the beginning of the whole game. And that way I can figure out boss patterns. But either way, I'm still going to get myself killed a bunch of times and see this screen again and again and again. Those of you who have played this game and experienced its relentless brutality, I think you know where I'm coming from when I say Infinite Continues is not cheating. Infinite Lives is cheating. Invincibility is cheating. But Infinite Continues, that's really not too much to ask for. Konami really takes the Sega Genesis graphic capabilities to the limit with these amazing graphics, parallax scrolling, and pseudo 3D effects. Contra Hard Corps also takes full advantage of the two sound chips within the Sega Genesis to pump you up with its high-energy chiptune soundtrack to assault your senses along with its visuals. I'm not giving any medical advice, but if you're an excitable person with anxiety and are prone to epileptic fits, you might not want to play this game. That's no joke. This is a real tough, fast-paced action game with anxiety-inducing surprise deaths from above, from below, from off-screen, and just about everything around you wants you dead. With persistent practice, you do get better at this game. You figure out patterns and see that the enemies do telegraph what they're going to do before they do it. But dying a million times to figure that out is a real test of patience. Even though I put in the code for Infinite Continues, I can't tell you how many times I saw that game over screen. It's a tough game, but it is fun, and they added a lot of versatility in the gameplay with the 4 characters and the different types of weapons, though my least favorite character to play as is Fang. Each character has their own quirks as well as their own advantages. Brownie is the smallest, but he can avoid hazards much easier than the other characters. Fang is a bigger target, but he also has the strongest weapons in the game, and he can kill bosses much quicker. I can't really recommend what character to use. It's really a matter of preference. For me, I like to use Sheena a lot because I like her weapons, but many times I swap around characters because some characters are better suited for different tasks and different scenarios. It's really all up to you. Each of the characters have a sliding dash ability. You can slide across the ground, and then many times you can use it to get out of a pinch and save your life. But if you're not careful, it can also be your undoing. If you're playing with a 6-button controller, the XYZ buttons change your position from shot 1 to shot 2. What that means is, shot 1, you're running and gunning, while in shot 2, you're stationary while you're using your gun. I have found the stationary position of shot 2 useful for certain bosses, but for most of the game, I stick with shot 1. I really love the in-your-face animations and visuals of this game, but they can be disorienting at times, and a lot of times they'll confuse you. If you're not paying attention, some of the on-screen visuals can be a diversion, and sudden death will come out from underneath all that mess. Not only are the on-screen enemies a hazard, if you're not careful, the weapon power-ups can mess you up because they change your weapon on the spot. I won't spoil it, but this game adds variety with the different scenarios you can pick throughout the different stages. And it also has different stages to play through. It's really up to you how you want to go and what route you want to take. I don't want to give too many spoilers, but there are some swerves in the storyline, and you can swerve the storyline yourself, but it'll cost you a continue. You see, why did you do that? You're supposed to be the good guy. Come on now. I actually went through this game twice to show different scenarios and other stages you can play in. So I got 2 different endings and 2 different end bosses. I won't ruin the endings for you. But in total, there are 4 bosses and 4 different endings. So if you want to have at it and fight all 4 different bosses and see all 4 endings, Just grab yourself a Polar Pop and some snacks because you're going to be at it for a while. I highly recommend the Infinite Continue code on the Game Genie, or play it on the Genesis Mini and just use the state saves. If you play this with the kids, you might want to be aware that there is some mild PG-rated profanity in the text. It's far and few, not terribly explicit, but it is there, and some of the bosses are real freaky looking, and they might upset smaller children. That doesn't happen too often, but there was a boss in Super Contra that scared my cousin when he was little. Kids are more desensitized nowadays, but just be aware of that possibility. Contra Hard Corps makes for a fun, yet frustrating evening of gameplay, and it's very affordable and easy to find, and if you have a Sega Genesis, this belongs in your collection. You can also play Contra Hard Corps on the Sega Genesis Mini, and if you switch your settings to Japanese, you can play the more forgiving Japanese version of this game. In most cases, it's Japan that gets the more difficult and unforgiving version of a video game, but in this case, they took turns. Thanks for tagging along on this mission of brutality where I went through Contra Hard Corps here on the Straight Edge Game Room. If you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe. If you want to see more content like this, please drop by again. Go to my YouTube channel and reference my video catalog for more episodes of the Straight Edge Game Room and other videos that I have posted.